Greetings, everyone. Thank you all for watching and sharing these videos from LifeSource. Today, we talked about the issue of what it is that God expects from us or wants us to do in the present world, where there are so many things wrong. There are so many sad songs being written and being composed and being shared about what all is wrong in government and what's all is wrong with the church and what's all is wrong with the world and what's wrong with our lives. There are so many complaints that it's tiring. And so our sharing today, the question was, aren't you tired? Aren't you sick and tired of being jealous and angry and moody and sad and disturbed and unhappy about everything that's going on with the world? The government's corrupt. The church is questionable. The crime problem is out of control. The police literally aren't functioning. And so we have so many things wrong, and it seems that all too many of us are doing is simply complaining and wishing someone would handle it, someone would deal with it, someone would resolve it. Well, I have really interesting news. In chapter 3, I believe it is, verses 1 through 11, in the Acts of the Apostles, we learn what God expects of us when we see problems and challenges, when there are problems and challenges that confront us. So here we have John and Peter going up to the temple during the hour of prayer, and they're sitting there at the entrance to the gate, the beautiful gate there at the temple in Jerusalem is a man who has been born crippled. He's been crippled from birth. And so every day that gentleman, he comes on and his friends bring him up to the gate, beautiful, and he sits there and asks for gifts and money to get him through his day, to meet his daily needs. Well, John and James come along. John and Peter come along up to the temple for the hour of prayer, and that's where this all begins. Here's the thing. God didn't call us to be observers. He didn't call us to be the people who just walk around wagging our fingers and going at a world gone mad. You know, God really did call us to be change agents. As I said here in our sharing time today, we are the waiters, we are the leaders, we are the change agents we are waiting for. Too many of us, even in the church, especially in the church, are busy walking around passing judgment on everyone who's fallen in hard times, who's in the middle of a fight, or simply wondering why they don't have anyone to help them. It may be well because you and I are the people called to be the help. You and I are the people called to be the difference. You and I are the man, the woman, the person to step into that fight and break it up. You know, yes, there are incidents going on all over the country, and we're all watching them because somebody has done just the job of filming that it happened. Grown men filming women being raped for posterity's sake. Grown men and women filming people being attacked and harmed and robbed and their homes invaded. Well, we got it on camera. Well, that's not really what God called us to do. God called us to be change agents, not to be recorders of events. And the difference is that the change agent is that person who steps into the fight, who steps in to help, who steps in to be the difference. And so that takes us back to our dear friends, John and Peter. As they're walking up to the steps, they meet the man. He asks them for help, for assistance, and they say to him, Peter says to him, look at us. And he wants the man to know that they aren't people of means. They aren't men of means or wealth or anything. In fact, he says to the man, I don't have any silver or gold. It says in the King James, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, I give to thee. He actually says in that King James version. But what he says in English, modern English, look, I don't have any money, silver or gold or anything else. But what I do have, I'm giving it to you right now. He says, in the name of Jesus, the Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk now. He reaches out the man and helps him up, and the man realizes his legs work. For the first time in his life, his legs work. He rises up with him, walking into the temple. In fact, it says he sings and dances into the temple. He celebrates going into the temple, and people recognize this man who has been sitting in front of the temple for decades, probably. having people brought him up there for decades to help him get some money, some assistance, or anything from anybody. But that one instance not only changes his life, but changes the lives of all of those around him, and few people acting on it. I mean, you must know that, like at churches, people walk past the poor going into church, going around the church, and many of us do nothing. We just record that they're there, and we say to ourselves, oh, I sure hope somebody helps that guy. I sure somebody assists that person. That person today, God is saying, ought to be you. It ought to be me. Who does the help? Who makes the difference? You are the change agent you are calling for. You know, and all these sad songs we're seeing, and all of these sad words we're hearing, that are becoming popular, the reason they're becoming popular is because too many of us aren't doing anything to be the difference. And God called us to be that. God called the Christian to be the change agent. Please consider that. Today is your day to be the person who intervenes. And you don't have to do it by breaking up the fight or any of those things. At the very least, you can call for help. At the very least, you can give someone some direction or some guidance. Yes, you might be able to give them some money. You might have those means. But if you do, let's talk to God about it, because the very first thing that we ought to do in every situation where we want to just go shame, shame, naughty, naughty, or it sure is too bad that someone's there not being the difference, this is your opportunity to be that person. Not to just look shame and depression and sadness that nobody's doing, nobody's helping. Be the help. That's today's share. Don't just get comfortable being the protester, being the whiner, being the crier about what's going on with the world. God called us to be change agents. Get off your assets and be the difference today. Thank you for listening. This is Joseph here with the LifeSource family. We're out. God bless.